So this was the Resident Evil showcase. So like they flagged prior that it was going to have Resident Evil Village. There were a lot of folk who were hoping, expecting that they would have Resident Evil 4 remake. When they did talk about the inventory system, which, you know, they even said, hey, this is very similar to Resident Evil 4, I started to think, oh, okay, maybe they'll actually announce a remake after all. So I started to get excited for that. But really, the only big announcement that they sort of had in this, apart from one that I'll flag, is that they're going to release this game, which they only originally said was PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Now they're also going to make sure it works on PS4 and Xbox One, which, you know, I think given the supply constraints on the consoles, makes sense. Like when I got my PS5, I think it got sold out within like a couple of minutes. So people are just buying these things like crazy.
I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain we didn't have an actual release date.
No, we didn't have a release date.
So that was that was a big announcement as well.
Yeah, so
we didn't have for those, but we had a release date for the game, which was May 7th.
We didn't before. So yeah, the big announcement
before
was
that.
The release date, and then it's also coming on to 150 million consoles that are out there in the wild, rather than you know, PC, which is a stack load.
10.
But I wouldn't play Resident Evil on PC. It just feels like such a console game for some reason.
No, I played it on PC, and it actually worked really well on PC. Yeah, because.
To be honest, I was playing
headphones
on
at
PC,
night.
So true.
True. Resident Evil 7 I played on PC. I also played it on the other platforms, but I actually quite liked it on PC.
So the game's coming out on 7th May 2021. And the other big news, and again, yes, these all came out in the leaks, but I didn't really go through the leaks. I don't know if you did either, Swinny, but that there's a multiplayer game. So it's not just a mode, it's a multiplayer game that's coming out that is free if you have Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, I my take on that is the same take I had with with GTA Online. To me, like, unless you release it as a standalone product, which they did with GTA Online later, at the start, it's just a multiplayer mode, but they just want to call it something separate.
That's all it is.
I think they're releasing it as a separate game. I think you can buy it.
Well,
they said it comes free with the game, but they didn't go into the details of whether you can still buy it separately. I'm assuming you probably can.
That's what they did with GTA Online, but yet, okay, that's a shared achievement list of GTA 5. It's just the multiplayer mode now. If they release it standalone, I understand from a marketing perspective they do it. It just annoys me from a semantics. Like, it is the multiplayer mode of it, just like...
It is, but it's a completely different game.
Oh yeah, of course it's
like it looks different. One's cartoony, one's realistic horror.
Does look really different.
It's a completely separate thing. I can see it being just part of the game.
It's the same thing as what they did with Resident Evil 3 remake, you know. So anyway,
yeah, but that was based on that engine though. This looks completely different.
It's still using the engine. It just looks different.
I have a lot of thoughts on this game because I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil 4. Back in the day, I played it on multiple platforms. I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil 7, which is quite a different game.
Yeah.
So, you know, starting off with what we're just talking about now, the multiplayer component felt like some little crappy mobile game that almost made no sense. Random characters that are normally with each other, trying to kill each other. It just looked cheap. The animations weren't great.
Yeah.
It just felt like they outsourced it to a separate studio, paid relatively little money for it, I reckon, used a hell of a lot of the assets that they already had, and, you know, just created this thing just to get some multiplayer in it, as opposed to doing a proper multiplayer job. But I'll reserve my judgment. It could end up being fun. It just doesn't look great.
I don't think we're alone in just wondering why the hell Capcom still keeps trying to make Resident Evil multiplayer thing. Like, they've done it so many times. Umbrella Corps being the worst example of it all, but that was a standalone thing. But
I feel like you could make a good co-op Resident Evil game. I do believe you could do that.
They've done them before, and some of them people have liked. But in terms of competitive multiplayer,
it's
nuts.
Yeah.
It's not the mechanics system. It's like
it's the problem. That's the mechanics. Yeah, the mechanics is not designed for fluid, fun multiplayer. I mean, it works, but it just doesn't really.
I have zero interest in RE-verse, but getting back to Resident Evil Village, so they also announced, and I was excited as a newly minted PS5 owner, that there was a PS5 exclusive demo called Maiden.
Indeed.
Now, prior to the show, you were the only known PS5 owner So you obviously
However-
played through all of it, right, Mike, for the show?
Yep, all of 10 minutes that it took to finish.
Oh, you did
it.
actually play
Yeah.
through it. I thought you were.
Yeah, I finished it.
Okay,
Of course I was.
I did as well. I did
Like
as
I
well.
wasn't going to. How long did it take you? So let's talk about it quickly. I think
Why
it
is
was
it about length? It's not all about length.
Yeah, I know, but
Go on, Mike.
it wasn't. It didn't really have much girth either because everything is just so confined.
It's very linear. Yeah, yeah.
It's very linear, very corridory. Now, it looked great. It was
Oh, it
exactly
looked
what I
amazing.
expected.
Yeah, it
The
looked
graphics were, I mean, it felt like, the graphics were the graphics that I remembered in Resident Evil 7. It was super short, so it was more like a tech demo just to showcase and introduce some of the characters, and you don't know who the protagonist is, so you don't even know if you're playing as the actual protagonist from the main game. Ethan.
No. So they
It's-
say they've already said that. So you're not. Obviously.
Okay, there you go.
You
You
played
just
through it, right?
pretend-
You're obviously
No, I
not
played,
playing
but
as that
no-
protagonist.
but it didn't really say that in the game. So I'm saying, like, I just assumed it wasn't him because it wasn't
No,
introduced as that or
no.
anything.
You're playing as a female. You're Maiden. You're
Yeah.
a Maiden. It's all women.
And without spoiling anything, but I assume by now people may have played it, you meet some of the antagonists in the game.
Well, you
So-
meet the antagonist that everyone's
the
getting
antagonist,
frothy
yeah.
about on the internet. The very tall vampire
very
lady.
frothy, yeah, the Romanian vampire
Yeah,
lady.
Exactly.
And her 3 daughters, I believe it is.
Okay.
Anyway, so that part was really cool, and I like the little details. So the lady, I think her name is Lady Dimitrescu,
Yeah.
and the little details are interesting because I actually probably spent about half my game time looking at wine bottles,
Yeah,
trying to
same,
see if it's
same,
possible
yeah,
to
same.
decipher what it says, and
Yeah.
like what, and it actually is. So the wine bottle translated from Romanian to English says Red Queen. So like they've
Oh,
actually
wow,
even added
that's
little
awesome.
details like that, I think.
That's
So I'm
cool, dude.
hoping throughout the game there's a few more, proper. Now the locale, we don't know where this village is. It's obviously in someplace in Eastern Europe, and in Resident Evil 4, I don't think they ever talked about exactly where that village was. From
I think
memory.
they said it was Eastern
Remember
Europe.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like the actual location or even the country
Mm.
that it's located in or anything. It's like a fictional sort of thing, but it's clearly inspired with vampires and stuff. The only thing that I on that point that I don't know how I feel about is there was definitely a stark difference between how Resident Evil 4 played and the mechanics, the fact that it was a bit more arcadey, actually quite a bit more arcadey, with like realistic horror elements, but it was more of an arcade game. Whereas Resident Evil 7 went to a first-person, full-on horror. Whereas this is trying to be a bit of both. And I'm not going to say anything yet because I don't know. I don't know. I'm totally on the fence about this. I loved 7. I loved 4 because of their own different ways of approaching a game. But this, combining both elements, I don't know how it's going to work.
Combining both, what are you basing that on?
Basing it on the fact that, the way you upgrade weapons. So number 7 felt
yeah.
like a more realistic horror survival experience. Whereas this feels like you're going to get a bunch of guns. You're going to get the Duke, I think he's called, which is the stranger from number 4. And the mechanic of upgrading stuff like that. It's supernatural horror. So it's gone away from number 7, which was a lot more... I wouldn't call it realistic,
number
but
7 had a lot of supernatural stuff.
it had a lot more supernatural stuff.
Sure,
but I feel
sure,
like
it
it was
didn't have-
still
Sure, it
tame.
didn't have werewolves, but it still had crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, but this is more. This is like full on. People turning into fucking insects and flying away, and vampires and bloody werewolves and all sorts of shit. Like I think it's a different kind of game. It's not a zombie kind of game. It's more arcadey. And the one thing that I found really interesting is it wasn't in the demo, but in the actual footage it showed it. The crosshair and elements like that, which I think just don't fit the kind of survival horror game. I would turn the crosshair off straight away. It's like this giant distracting cross in the middle of your screen. It just ruins the whole immersion factor of it. And little elements like that, I think, are going to be interesting. And I don't know if they're... I mean, it's obviously a conscious decision. And if I'm not mistaken, RE7 had 2 producers. Only one of them was left on this. And another producer, a new producer, Paul. I think it was Paul. I had notes on it. I actually kept some notes on this one. Believe it or
like
not.
Dowsett.
Peter Fabiano was the new one. So I don't know if they obviously sat down and made a conscious decision to go down a different path to do Resident Evil 7, but also like a spiritual successor to Resident Evil 4. So it might be good. We'll see when it comes out. If it's too arcadey, too actiony. but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it just gets more people to play it as well. So
As I say, I get scared shitless in these games, and I played only like 15 minutes of Resident Evil 7, then I got too scared and uninstalled it. And then I pretty much only played this demo. Number one, it'd be good to chat about it on the show, given that I just got a PS5. But also because they said, there's no combat in this game. So I'm like, okay, it won't be scary then. And I started playing it. I'm like, oh man, I'm scared already.
really, man, I did not a single. In fact, when
I had to tell
when
myself,
the lady appears,
this is a video game. This is a video game.
It's a video game, dude. I was playing it I was playing it at night, had the light switched off. And when I'm not going to say what, but there's a certain part where there's a character on the stairs and you're supposed to be shocked and scared by it. I'm like, hey, come back, lady, come back. And I started running after her. So I think it's also the way you approach the game. I just wanted to make out with the hot vampire lady. Come on.
It does look cool. I don't know if I'm going to get it when it launches.
It looks good, yeah.
But it's always hard because these games go on sale so aggressively.
Can I just, so I kept a little...
Can't see
Shit,
it.
you can't see it. It doesn't matter anyway. I kept a tally of the number of times they either said the word pre-order in their trailer.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or they had it on screen. They said it 5 times, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it felt like a lot. It's like you're just constantly being reminded, hey, pre-order this game, pre-order this game, pre-order this game. And they had it on screen 3 times, including if you bothered to actually watch
I'm trying to understand why that's a new thing. I mean, just think back.
It's not a new thing.
Think back to shareware days. Like that stuff.
Yeah,
was,
I know that. But
you couldn't even quit the game without it forcing these things. That you,
Ad screen.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But all I'm saying is now, people, we've been burnt enough. Even very recently with a certain game that I happen to really love, and I pre-ordered and I didn't give a shit. I really enjoyed it, but before you pre-order this game, just have a think about it. Do you really want to pre-order it? Maybe just wait. See what it's like when it comes out. It's probably going to be good. Looks great.
I think that's
if it plays like 7 and 4. No, but just hold off. Just because they keep telling you 50 times to pre-order it. Don't run out and pre-order it straight away.
Are you saying hold off because you think this game will be buggy, or you just don't like the idea of pre-orders in general? Because
let's not go down that rabbit hole because we could talk about it for hours.
No, I don't think any recent Resident Evil games have been super buggy at launch. That's
no. Sorry, I'm not trying to say it's buggy necessarily. I'm just trying to say, is it going to be a good game? Probably. If it's even if it's a mishmash between multiple types of games, which I think this will be, it's still probably be a great game, and I'm more than likely going to get it.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, in general, with pre-ordering. And let's not go down that rabbit hole. I think we should have a whole segment on it. Just be wary of it. Don't fork out $100. Just wait. Like, it's still going to be $100 when you get it anyway. So
there's almost never a benefit of pre-ordering a standard edition of a game. Whereas with your world, in the amount of collector's editions you have, it is a bit of a gamble. It's like, if you don't pre-order those things, often they'll just sell out. Like,
yeah, of course.
And the ones you really want are the ones that sell out. Because the ones that are still available, like The Last of Us Part 2 is still available, Doom Eternal, you can still get that collector's edition.
There's a benefit.
Probably cheaper now too.
There's a benefit if it's a game with a limited release, which I tend to buy a lot on release day.
Yeah,
so things like from European developers and stuff, they generally JB Hi-Fi may only get 2 or 3 copies on release.
Yeah, of course, stuff like that. Absolutely.
Well, we're not. Okay. Yeah, I should say, we're not talking about
AAA titles and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think you're going to struggle to find Resident Evil Village at your local EB game.
Oh, of course
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And it definitely feels like the kind of game that will go down in price. 7 went down in price fairly quickly from memory.
7's free on lots of stuff, right? So yeah, I still haven't got through 7, but this does look really, really cool. So
it's worth playing 7. 7's really cool. One last thing I really want to quickly say about this, speaking of scary, is they made no mention of VR.
Yeah, because there's no PSVR, man. They're waiting for that.
Well, I know. So I can kind of see why I guess they haven't announced it. And they probably will introduce it later like they did with number 7. I never played 7 properly in VR, but from the bits that I played, it's incredible. Like it's the kind of game that's just so good for VR.
I've got some stuff about VR. We'll talk about it later because it's a story about VR as the last story. All right, let's get into the next story, which is